turn once more.
As here comes Gonzaga. You see Edwards leading the trainees. Around the outside, but he's done it before. He's late for brakes into a scoring. He gets the stop in time and he takes that. As here comes Gonzaga. You see Edwards leading the trainees. Around the outside, but he's done it before. He's late for the brakes into Ascari. He gets it stopped in time, and he takes that.
Well, we hit the business end of Season 2 Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals for 2026. It is week 10 out of 12. And from the home of British motorsport, we head to a certain circuit named after the late, great Gilles Villeneuve, as we hit the streets of Montreal in Quebec, Canada, for what should be an interesting sprint and feature race. Time qualifying currently underway. Trackside up here in the broadcast centre. It's Alex Goldschmidt, once again joined by Jim Cunningham. But let's give you a little bit of a rundown as a bit of housekeeping before we get to the end of time qualifying. 2 more weeks on the calendar here for the Battle of the Radicals between the SR8s and the SR10s. Here are your points at the moment. James Barry is the new SR10 points leader, having done the double at Silverstone just last week. Simon Edwards holds on to 2 ahead of Heinz Brown. Phil Glover in 4th ahead of Robert Woodward, with George Gonzaga, one of the biggest movers in the SR10 points, moving up from P10 to P6 ahead of Kim Andre Bjorklund, Bruno Vitorino, Seth Brown and Dominic Pavera, rounding out your top 10 in the SR10s, with 25 drivers so far having been on the points register. Next up, we go to the SR8s, and it's Jamie Bird that leads the way by a mere 13 points ahead of the hard-charging Mike Bousson. Hevard Gullikson is not one to count out for the SR8 title here in Season 2 as he rounds out the top 3. 101 points ahead of our superstar DJ from Belgium, Stefan Mellis, Steve Webb, Ollie Gullikson, Paul LeMay, Josh Reed, Ray Peasley and David Beasley, rounding out the running order in the SR8 points division. So, as I said earlier, 2 more rounds to go after this, as we will head on May 28th to the Nordschleife Industriefahrten for a 60-minute enduro, and then 2 races will decide our Season 2 champions in SR8 and SR10 at Adelaide in Australia on June 4th. Then, of course, the circuit itself, 2.7 miles, 14 turns in all, and of course the fearsome Wall of Champions off of turn number 14 and the long, lengthy Casino Straight after the hairpin known as L'Épingle here at the Montreal circuit. And good evening, Jim Cunningham. How are you, buddy? Good, man. Good to be here with you. You know, this circuit is interesting. I for a long time, I really didn't have a respect for this circuit. You know, for whatever reason, I don't know. I just kind of dismissed it and then I did a couple of events here, and I really did enjoy the way this place flowed and drove, and it's kind of warmed me up to the track a lot, and I was really excited to see this one on the circuit at the beginning of the year. And I think it's going to make for some interesting racing. And there's a few sausage curbs around here that'll knock your teeth loose if you're not careful. Yeah, and definitely you rearrange your spine as well at the same time, especially coming out of the final chicane. So the format is we have a 10-minute qualifying session, which will decide the grid for race 1, which will be 11 laps. Then we'll have a top 10 inverted for the feature, which will be 17 laps. And at the moment, it is Mike Bousson who is leading the way overall in time qualifying. The 666 from Team Radline on a 1:35.79. Nearly, well, he's 2.5 tenths quicker than James Barry, with a new name joining us in the number 183. And that is Finley Mellier-Smith. Freddie Shriver running in 4th at the moment. So good showing here by the number 37, who has improved week in, week out here at the Radical Race Series. Seth Brown, Paul LeMay, George Gonzaga, Phil Glover, Patricio Gomez de Silva, and Heinz Braun round out your top 10. And it is very, very close between the top 5, as we see here the number 183. This is Finley Mellier-Smith coming out of the final corner.
I tell you
heads
what,
towards line.
You could show up to a series, be a brand new driver, and run in the top 3 or 4 with this cast of characters. That's pretty good showing, I have to say.
Yeah, Finley running in the SR10 Radical. Of course, as always, we run both classes together, and Mike Busson showcasing that he had highs and lows last time out at the home of British Motor Racing at Silverstone. One of the races I'm really looking forward to, Jim, is the one next week, the March Life at 60 minutes. That is going to be an absolute doozy.
Well, that's my favorite track, so and especially the industry farting version, because of the the fact that you don't go on to I love the Grand Prix circuit too, and I don't mind the 24-hour layout or whatever, but I just love the old Nordschleife with nothing, with none of the new Grand Prix circuit. I just love that layout. It's my favorite track in all of racing, actually, to drive on.
Mike Busson has gone purple in the opening sector, as into the final 60 seconds in time qualifying we go. Not the greatest middle sector from Busson, but he was a 10th and a half off of his best effort, which was a 27.57 in the middle sector, as he hurtles his way at high speed in 6th gear, hits the brakes onto the curbing, bounces over it, gets very close to the wall of champions on the right-hand side. Will this be a further improvement from the 666? Across the line he goes. Yes, 130.568 bridges the gap between him and James Barry in the number 10 to just over a quarter of a second. And here comes, said Mr. Barry here, Jim.
We caught James catching a little draft there. Right as we popped the camera on him, he was ducking out from catching him a little draft there. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. And indeed, it was not.
No, because he got a slowdown penalty coming out of the final chicane.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll sure mess it right up. But it's going to be an interesting front row, isn't it? With Busson and Barry up there, that's going to be a fun one.
It is going to be a fun one here for 11 laps of the opening race of week 10 out of 12 for season 2 Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals. Busson on pole. Barry alongside with Mellier-Smith and Shriver rounding out row 2. Gonzaga and Braun on row 3. Ollie Gullickson, Paul LeMay rounding out the top 8, with Seth Brown and Robert Woodward completing the top 10. No Hervard Gullickson here this week, I've just noted, as Phil Glover has Patricio Gomez de Silva alongside on row 6. Stefan Mellis, Dominique Pavera, and our plucky marshal, as always, Mr. Steve Webb, who we had a good chinwag with at the end of last week's show. But we are set and ready for 11 laps of this 2.74-mile circuit. 14 turns in all. We're just waiting for there is Barry. There's James Barry onto the grid. We're waiting for a few other drivers, which includes pole sitter Mike Busson. Ollie Gullickson, Stefan Mellis has just appeared on the start grid. And as always, with the Radical Race Series, you can head to their official website at radicalraceseries.co.uk. And there we are. One more driver to go. Ollie Gullickson now will appear by magic on the grid as we are set and ready for 11 laps of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve here for round 10, race 1. And the 5 lights are on. And big plumes of wheel spin, especially from Busson, but Barry did not get the greatest start. Neither did Mellier-Smith, who has been already overtaken by George Gonzaga, but Mellier-Smith returns the favour through at turn number 1. Paul LeMay now through on Heinz Braun, who's round the outside of Freddie Shriver, coming out of turn number 2, as we head to the first of multiple chicanes here at turns 3 and 4, famously where Fernando Alonso got contacted a few years ago whilst driving a Ferrari, and was not very happy about that. Seeing the rear lights blaze on the back of Mike Busson when under braking, but there has been a drama, as we have seen. That is George Gonzaga. He has lost out to Heinz Brown, and Freddie Schreiber is not that far behind. Man from Portugal in the 113.
I believe we've had an incident with involving Ollie Gullingson and potentially maybe Silva.
Oh!
Stefan Mellis.
Now that was Dominic Pavera.
Yeah, well, the colored cars are almost similarly colored, too. It threw me off there.
Oh, no, Phil Glover. Oh, no, poor Phil. What's happened to Phil? He's in the pits. As here comes George Gonzaga with a big head of steam down the Casino Straight. And then you've got the river on the left-hand side as they head into final chicane, also known as the Quebec chicane. And then you've got the Wall of Champions. Oh, Heinz Brown hard into the wall. Freddie Schreiber has nowhere to go, and Heinz Brown has got a grabbing car. Driver's lost the front deck lid. Oh, my dear. Goodness. That was a big incident on the exit of what was lap 1. So we're going to see it here. Brown over the curbing, bumps it. Yeah, it was that curb that unsettled him.
Yep, sure was. All right, well, while we're here, real quick, in these, well, I'll tell you, no, never mind. Go back to live here because this is starting to heat up here.
This is Heinz Brown. Then we got James Barry versus Mike Bousson. And Barry getting a real amount of slipstream heading into turns 8 and 9. So Bousson turns it in. Barry trying to get getting the run at the moment, and then down in towards Le Bank at the hairpin here at turn number 10. But Bousson seems to be on absolute fire at the moment. Seth Brown gets a track limit penalty, so slow down. But Bousson has been keeping Barry at bay here at the moment here, Jim.
Yeah, I would argue that, you know, it's entirely possible that Mike Bousson drives the widest car in this series. He really does. You know, he is so good at keeping you behind him, putting his car in the right spot, and just making it really tough to get around him. I mean, he's kind of known that he runs the highest downforce setups in this league, really. And he, you know, he uses Oh, he's pitting. Okay, there we go.
That's probably for the damage from earlier on, I would have thought.
Yeah, I'm sure, yeah. So, real quick, I wanted to go back and see what happened with Gullickson right off the bat at the start of this race here.
So, oh dear.
Ooh. Yeah, well,
I think that was basically he assisted himself around,
yeah.
Seth Brown was very. I think Seth Brown, good work by Seth at that point.
Of course, as soon as I cut to the replay, Barry gets by Bousson. Let's see what happened there. Right. Yeah, it never fails. Oh, big lockup from Mike there. Way drove it in deep.
Yeah, looks like it was a lockup on the left front there. So.
Yeah, that's well, he certainly made it easy on James, which is not something he's known for. He sure did.
No.
He sure did give that one to James pretty easily. It'll be hard now for Mike to get back by him. I think he potentially can keep up with him with the draft, but I getting back by James is going to be really tough. Just how fast he is, you know.
Well, someone who's really become a rocket ship is Paul LeMay. 1:31.603. New fastest lap of the race. As we go back live, trackside, and this is coming out of turn 2 at the centre chicane. Bousson is closing that gap.
He is.
And look, he's really making use of that naturally aspirated V8 car that's underneath him. And he is not going to let James Barry get away. And this is one of the tracks that I was really excited for in the battle for the the Battle of the Radicals here, Jim. Basically because it is 80% you are at flat chat, you are at full throttle 6 gear. And Bousson looking to the outside. Barry just decides, no, I'm going to cover him off. As they come out of turns 8 and 9.
Well, we got two of them back to back here. Look at these two battles.
Yeah. Melia Smith and Paul LeMay, who scraped the wall coming out of turn 9 into turn 10 at the hairpin. We go again, and look at this. top 4 covered by just under 1.2 seconds. And look at this, Mike Bousson is going to get the side draft here down the Casino Straight if he gets the opportunity. And now it comes into play. Bousson, is he going to be ahead of Barry before the chicane? No, not on this particular occasion, but he had a good run on that slipstream. So I think James Barry is going to have to watch his 6 for a few more laps.
Yeah, apparently this front 4 battle is insane up here. There's 2 phenomenal battles going on right here.
Yeah, there definitely is. And now Bousson, he's really chomping at the bit. He wants to get through. He's like thinking, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Barry, you're not going to have it all your own way. And Bousson has just put so much pressure on him. And I'd like to see what telemetry we're going to get as well from these cars, because on board with Mike Bousson at the moment, we're up to 3rd gear, up the rev range, 120 miles an hour. You can see it about, on the rev limiter at about 10,700 RPM, down to 3rd gear, 60 miles an hour, then accelerates up the box to 4th. 5th, he's going to the outside, is Bousson. This could be brave from the 666. He's a nose ahead by the hairpin. Can he get the crisscross? He's going to go for it here. That is textbook from Mike Bousson. James Barry gives him enough room, squeezes him along. It's a bit like Mansell and Senna back in 1991 at Barcelona. Down the main start-finish straight, and Mike Bousson at 140 miles an hour. Well, he got the drop off of he got the drop on Barry very, very quickly indeed. And we could see that the crisscross was perfection itself.
Oh, that was good stuff right there. Holy cow. I'm not going to lie to you, that move kind of surprised me from Mike. You know, I mean, I love Mike, but I would have expected that to be more of a James Barry move. But, man, that was good stuff from Mike right there. It really was.
Yeah. And, Finney Mellier-Smith looks to have dropped the ball, I'm afraid, as Paul LeBay now finds himself in P3, so 2nd and 3rd are both SR8s. We've got an SR10 leading the way.
Well, I'm sure Paul's sitting back there thinking, yeah, you two go ahead and fight again like that for me. Do that for one more straightaway, and I'll join that party.
Oh, Mike, a bit of a wiggle. Code Brown there from the Team Radline driver in the 666. Boot to the power, it kicked the tail out sideways to the left, and he lost a bit of time to Barry. But yeah, I think the good thing is with this circuit here, for Paul LeMay in particular, obviously we had all those corners at Silverstone last week, and now we've got a track where most of the time you can point and squirt it. So hopefully for Paul, his arms won't be feeling under duress like they were last time, 7 days ago.
True, yeah. And I mean, when you got medical issues like that, anybody that's got back or neck pain problems or anything like that, it just so depends on the day. You have good days, you have bad days with stuff like that, Apparently Stefan Mellis is having a world of trouble out there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really want to compound his misery, but...
Okay, so he's behind Ole Gullikson.
I think this is absolutely going to be a solo here, I'm pretty sure. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't too bad.
No.
Oh, did he blink out? He blinked out there, too. And then this is another one. Go.
Okay, so hard braking, turns it in, back in, steps out. Yeah.
He was way on the brakes at turning that car, man. You gotta get the braking done before you get there. Can't do that. Not in these things, especially. You get that brake bias adjusted, just not wrong, but just these cars don't respond well to turning and braking at the same time.
No, you've got to basically be on a track where a lot of people would go for more low aero setup because of that straight line speed. And again, Bousson, the SR8 is getting better traction coming out of the hairpin.
Yes.
At turn 10, which is why now Bousson is waiting right until the last minute. Here's the side draft. Now we're going to be at about 150 miles an hour, but then the SR10 comes into its own here at 150.
Yeah.
So... and that's one of the interesting things that The SR8 is able to go like higher up the rev range and go flat out and get on the power early. Because it's naturally aspirated, you don't have this disparity in torque like you do with a turbocharged engine, because a turbocharged engine will normally take between $2.5 to $3 to spool up, and then with the naturally aspirated cars, the SR8s, you've got more of that linear delivery.
I tell you what, if you watch James drive this SR10, you'll notice that he very rarely ever lets the RPMs get down low to where he loses that turbo being wound up. You know, there's an art to driving, you know, a turbocharged car, and keeping it in the power band, so to speak, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like he'll never, you won't see him short shifting very much, I don't think, you know, because he wants to keep it wound up. You see, he never let the RPMs get down below about 4,000 right there. Well, Mike is giving him a world of fits here, though.
Yeah. Boost on now to the outside down Casino Straight. And let's just see. This time, the cars are a bit more evenly matched. I think Mike Bousson's decided to switch a little bit of his strategies, thinking, yeah, I'll get the over-under on him at the hairpin. And then he's found out that going to the inside doesn't quite work as best as he would have thought. But that time, the SR8 in his SR8 looked a little bit more calm and composed, and able to keep that speed level with James Barry.
Well, yes, and I think that he got a better run this time through that whole section leading up to that. You know, but I'm not even sure that Mike is trying hard to pass him right now. I think Mike's just showing him his nose and trying to irritate him a little bit, you know. But the problem is with a guy like Barry, you know. Oh, he did there though. Oh no, he lost it.
No! Oh, Mike.
Oh, man.
Well, it is kind of the Mike Bousson way, is he now?
Yeah, I mean, he pushes so hard, yeah.
He pushes buttons like there's no tomorrows, especially in the interviews.
Yeah, no, that's what he does. He's one of those kind of people that pick at you, and that's the way he drives too, you know. And a lot of people that would rattle bad, you know. But I mean, we're talking about James Barry here, you know. It's a different level than most guys, but yeah, and that's also, to be honest, that's a little bit in Mike's playbook to do what he just did right there. Is he pushes so hard and just makes a little bit of a mistake every now and then, you know, and it bites him. And he's still going to get a solid finish out of this, potentially third, second, maybe, you know. But looks like the wind's going to get away from him with only another lap to go after this one.
Yeah, that's definitely the case, because he's Finley Mellier-Smith, who is a debutant here in the Radical Race Series, now is back up into P2. Started on the inside of the second row, as Bousson did put it on pole by over a quarter of a second. But James Barry now has a lead of nearly 5.8 seconds. He's halfway through the lap, so we're getting closer and closer to getting the white flag here at Montreal for race 1, round 10 out of 12 here for the Radical Race Series. Battle of the Radicals, and of course welcome along to those watching not only on JP Broadcasting but on the official Radical Race Series YouTube channel. Don't forget to put your comments in and give us a like, share and subscribe whilst you're at it.
This has done turned into a nice little heated battle here. I wonder, I guess Mike's tires had to heat up a little bit there, you know, so he's probably trying to recover from that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, when you accidentally overdrive the vehicle and make a mistake like Mike did, it does put the rear tyres on a bit of a hurt locker, but the white flag is out. And now Bousson has an opportunity. Can he get past Finley Mellier-Smith? And at the moment, Stefan Mellis is currently P10 at the moment, Jim, so he could be on the reverse grid pole position for our 17 lap feature. Hopefully he doesn't have any dramas up until that point. He has.
He just had one, apparently.
I don't believe it. I'm saying something about it, but it's a fate of circumstance. No, commentators, I call BS.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't believe in that either. I think it's just,
So Heinz Brown will now, at this moment in time, be on the opportunity. Finley Mellier-Smith having a big drama there as James Barry makes his way through the penultimate chicane before the hairpin, as Mellier-Smith being hounded by Mike Bousson and Paul LeMay. So this is the battle for P2 overall, but obviously the battle between Bousson and LeMay is for the SR8 class victory. As Bousson to the outside of the hairpin.
He's trying that same move. No, he didn't get the run off the corner that time.
Unfortunately not, but down Casino Straight for the final time here on lap 11 out of 11. And it is going to be a pretty convincing win. It'll be another one to add to his credit. James Barry wins race 1 here at Montreal for week 10 at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and it is going to be a country mile. It's the run to the line. Finley Mellier-Smith on debut takes P2. Bousson wins in SR8 ahead of Paul LeMay, rounding out your top 4 overall.
Wow, we didn't have a ton of battles back through the field as much as we normally do, but we sure did have some great battles up front. Holy cow! Give me some more of that. I need another race just like that one.
Well, you'll get your wish momentarily, Mr. Cunningham, because we are still waiting for a few more of our drivers to cross the line. Stefan Mallis will cross the line in 11th. We've got Patricio Gomes de Silva. There is the superstar DJ, the man from Belgium, who's been involved with quite a few series. The first time we actually saw him was when it used to run the JPB GT4 series, when he used to run in a very brightly coloured Aston Martin. Yeah, back in the day. There is Dominic Bavera, who is going to be the last driver to cross the line.
That Stefan and myself almost ran a NASCAR league for JP.
Really?
Yeah. He wanted to start a NASCAR league, and I told him that I would help out, and Stefan was going to be the kind of the main guy, but we just never got quite enough interest in it, so we never did do it. But yeah, we were really close. So we were talking quite a bit during that time, about the league and stuff. So I kind of got to know him a little bit, and he's come a long way in his driving, man. I have to say, when I first started watching him, he was just as wild as the Dickens. I mean, he'd be out there and he could, he was pretty quick. He just couldn't control the car. He would just have grief after grief, and there was a period there where he finally kind of found his way and slowed down and stayed within himself, and he won a championship in the SR8 amateur division. And then it was kind of like he went back and found his old form again, and he kind of bounced back to that. Gets ahead of himself a little bit and causes himself some grief. And he's noted for not practicing. It's a common thing, that he talks about. He jumps in the session. That's the only practice he gets a lot of times. And I think that season that he won the championship, I think he was practicing more. But quite an interesting character for sure. Good guy though.
Yeah, definitely. As we are coming down towards the end of our warm-up session. Quite interesting on the track temps. You were mentioning about Mike Bousson in race 1 overheating his tyres probably a little bit. Well, the track temp at the minute is 32 degrees.
Yeah, not horrible, but warm for sure. Horrible.
No, I mean, if we were hitting 40, that'd be in the hundreds in terms of Fahrenheit. And tyres would be, they'd be cooking quicker than sunny side up eggs.
To be fair, though, that's pretty warm track temperature for the part of the world that this track is in. Up in Canada is, pretty far in the northern hemisphere up, so that's still pretty warm for a track like that. So
Well, especially the track that normally when Formula One hits town, which it will do this weekend.
Yes, it is. This
normally you do get rain. So this weekend we've got the Canadian Grand Prix, the Coke 600, and also the Indianapolis 500 as well, all on the same weekend. There's no Monaco on the same weekend anymore because that's now been moved on the calendar.
Fun if we could have some racing this weekend, wouldn't it?
Definitely. Well, Heinz Brown leads from pole position ahead of Steve Webb with Robert Woodward and Ollie Gullickson on row 2. Seth Brown, George Gonzaga, Paul LeMay, Mike Busson, Finley Mellier, Smith and James Barry round out the top 10. Stefan Mellis, Patricio Gomez de Silva, Dominic Pavera, Phil Glover and Freddie Shriver round out your 15 strong as we are waiting for Woodward to join.
You can send Robert Woodward a thank you there to allow you to get through that grid.
Oh, don't worry. No. I've done 36 in just as about much time as we've got 5 lights on the gantry. Here at Montreal, lights are out and it's revs up. Oh. Lights are out. We are underway. And Heinz Brown had no hesitation on the start there. No wheel spin from either him or Steve Webb as Ollie Gullickson bumps his way through. George Gonzaga already up 2 positions. Busson's bolted and he's up 3 already.
Robert
to
Woodward
P5.
Down 7.
Woodward. Hey. Robert Woodward did not have the greatest of starts there, so he had the least time to prepare and get that clutch biting point ready.
Yeah, I don't think he got there, because it just kind of stalled off the line. He just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, so it is the case of now George Gonzaga and Mike Busson battling 2 and 8 behind Ollie Gullickson. Gonzaga to the inside of the chicane, keeps Busson at bay, but Gonzaga straight lines the chicane and so does Gullickson. Busson's got 3rd.
Here he goes.
The scalded cat. But both Gonzaga and Gullickson having to serve slowdown penalties. As Paul LeMay now up into P4, dives up the inside of Seth Brown. Gullickson yet to serve his slowdown penalty, which he should do really now. And that could cause him a little bit of drama. If he doesn't serve that quickly, it might be beneficial to do so. I think he has done just now, but he was 2 wheels on the grass, and there we go. Slowdown penalty eradicated as Gullickson all over the shop going through the final chicane. And then Gonzaga and Woodward go, oh, right, thank you very much, opening the door for me. I'll take that every single day of the week. As now, Mike Busson through on Steve Webb for P2. We have got some cracking battles up and down the order.
This is going to be a good battle right here. These two, because we know Smith is fast, and obviously Paul LeMay is one of the better, quicker drivers in this in these cars as well. So that's going to be a fun little battle, I think.
Yeah, fastest lap of the race, Heinz Brown, 1 minute 37.132, and he's got a 2.2 second lead over Mike Busson at the minute. However, we have got 17 laps, so there is a
somebody's
potential.
Around back there. It's LeMay.
Oh, Paul LeMay's dropped it. Oh dear. What on earth happened there? That was a big code round, clean up on aisle 3, and Paul LeMay has brought the mop along to clean up the mess. So let's see, this might be under acceleration, so he's going to turn it in, boots the throttle, it's already going around, and
did a good job saving it. Oh, and nobody hit him.
Oh.
I don't know who that was that missed him between him and the wall there, but they did a fine job there, because that was
I'm going to have a
close.
look, because I'm going to have a look. It was Ollie Gullickson that went exit stage right and put 2 wheels on the grass. As here we go, Barry versus Brown. Barry to the outside. Brown gets the slowdown penalty. Amelia Smith takes full advantage of the situation, gets through on one of the men who's one of the designers of Forza Horizon 6, now available to
big
drive.
Big week for him, for sure. So big week for Seth Brown this week.
I know. I'm so happy.
The reviews about the artwork in that game has been phenomenal. So he must just be like a proud peacock strutting around right now,
He's grinning more times than the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland, Jim, I think, as well.
Exactly.
Peacock, pouting peacock and Cheshire Cat smiles all round for Seth Brown. But congratulations to him and all the team behind the scenes at Forza Horizon 6, which looks to be an absolutely stellar game.
Uh-oh. Busan just pulled a move here. Let's see what happened.
Like Heinz Brown, I think, might have had a little bit of drama. Yeah. Slow down penalty, I think.
Well, that's a worse spot. You can catch a slowdown, too, right there, because you lose so much speed when you have to slow down on these long straightaways here.
Well, get this. Mike Buson just set the fastest lap of the race here, Jim. 1:31.799. Heinz Brown lost over 5 seconds to him. 5.4 seconds to be precise. So Heinz Brown, I think, has caught himself out a couple of times. So the 666 gets through into the race lead. Meantime, Steve Webb still holding on to that 3rd spot ahead of James Barry, Finley Mellier-Smith. As Barry has now got the fastest lap of the race, 1:31.360. Let's just see. There is Barry. There is Webb.
Let's see here. We got an incident popped up. Hold on.
Oh, and it was with Steve. So
this is right here.
Yeah, heading into turn 1. Barry's going to look to the inside. Steve Webb is going to cut across him. There's contact. And Steve Webb goes around, unfortunately.
You could see that coming. You could see that Steve wasn't going to realize he was there, you know? And that, honestly, that comes from experienced racing guys like Barry. You got to, you know, he is going to take advantage of gaps that are barely there and get them. Whereas most people would never even take that shot, or they would just, you know, send it in there and wreck you, you know. And I don't think that he realized that Barry was coming, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's always the way, that sometimes you think that you've got a clear space to your left-hand side, as the recovering Paul LeMay now starting to get a bit of argy-bargy. It's Noah's Ark style here between Stefan Mellis, who's got Phil Glover just in front of him. Then we've got Patricio Gomez de Silva battling away with Paul LeMay. LeMay is looking to try and find his way through. Silva gets through on Mellis. Mellis is going to go late on the brakes into the chicane. And this is the battle for P10 overall, but more to the point, it's going to be P8 in the SR10 division.
Yeah, I think Paul LeMay is probably just now starting to get the feeling back in his tires, because that slide he had was one that will really heat him up, because all 4 of them got locked up and slid sideways. So there was a ton of heat built up in those tires.
Yeah, so Stefan Mellis gets a bit of a wobble, and Paul LeMay has to check out behind Silva. Silva gets through on the man from Belgium, so Stefan Mellis, bit of a wibbly-wobbly situation there for the Belgian, but he manages
off the track.
Oh, and then Phil Glover's gone straight off.
Oh, no, he's done.
Phil has gone. I think whether he's had an issue there, because that car went straight on. That's unlike Phil as well, because we don't normally see.
Oh, yeah, no, he doesn't. He doesn't quit races. And plus, that car took a hard left, which it didn't. Oh no, it's a hard right actually.
Yeah.
But he's had some recent screen freezes and stuff with his VR, and oh no, Webb and Silva. Oh,
and Pavera comes flying on into the scene. But it was a case of Pavera spun himself around. Steve Webb had nowhere to go. His front deck went exit stage left. And then Stefan Mellis had to avoid. And then Dominic Pavera came flying onto the scene and used up one of his 9 cat lives there. So that was very, very close indeed between those individuals. So it just goes to show, folks, that you can have the best will in the world, the best overtaking opportunity, and you have one slight misjudgment, and all of a sudden, it's all gone horribly wrong.
It's true, you know, and then also when you get right up behind someone in these cars, you know, it changes the airflow over these cars. And they're going to corner different with less air, you know, going over the downforce on these cars, you know, or creating the downforce, I should say.
Yeah. And well, it just goes to show how quickly things can change on a dime. As Heinz Brown now closing in on James Barry.
He's driving very aggressive right now. Nothing wrong with that. I just, you can just see he's sending it in there, man. I mean, he's really driving it in deep, and I think that he's probably, to some degree, knows that he needs to. If you're going to get by James Barry, you better get by him, because otherwise he's going to leave you. And the fact that also Smith behind is clearly no joke either.
Yeah, and in the train behind, it's being led by the other one of the insert name racing team drivers, the Portuguese man of war, George Gonzaga, who's got Seth Brown trying to go round to the outside here at turn 1. And Gonzaga quickly to expedite the blocking and stays ahead, but Seth Brown tries to go back into the wheel tracks as they come out towards turns 3 and 4, and Seth Brown! Oh, that's a big moment for the number 38, gets punted from behind. And that just goes to show how bad it can be. And Robert Woodward, I think, went straight on. Yeah, he went onto the grass after he hit Seth Brown up the rear.
The way it happened, it made me question whether Brown slowed there early. I just think that Woodward completely missed everything there. That's what it looked like to me.
Well, and he had a four-wheel lock-up straight after he contacted the back of Seth Brown, who looks to have gotten away with superficial damage to the number 38. And that has now meant that Paul LeMay is up to 8th position. Biggest movers of the night as Seth Brown again has tumbled. I'm wondering what's happened to Seth, whether there's actually more damage than what the images were showing us. Bussant leading by 2.1 seconds. As we will now complete lap number 7.
Yeah, he's dropping. I think that
wondering if that car. I'm wondering if that car is crabbing a little bit, to be honest with you. Stefan Mellis has got
a little.
That looks like there's smoke bellowing from the back end of that Radical. So I think that's game over with regards to the engine.
Yeah, that was no, who was that? That was Prevera? No, Prevera's in front. It must have been Silva. Oh yeah,
and you can see here by Seth Brown.
Up. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, that steering and suspension on the right front, absolutely not great for him. Stefan Mellis now dives into the pit lane as well.
I think that probably came from, obviously not the shot to the rear end, but when he slid in to the wall, I think the front end clipped the wall first, and that probably jacked his steering up there a little bit. That's unfortunate too, because he was having a good run there. He was right up there competing with those, But given the week he's had, you probably can't knock the smile off that guy's face if you tried right now.
True.
I mean, can you imagine 4 years of your life work coming out today, or this week? You know what I mean? Like because that's what he said. He spent the last 4 years working on the art in that game, So what a culmination moment this week must have been for him and all the team over there at Forza for sure.
Well, according to get this, Forza, right? This is on Pure Xbox. Has said that Forza Horizon 6 smashes concurrent player record for Xbox Game Studios on Steam. And it said on launch on May the 19th, Forza Horizon 6 managed a peak player count of 273,148 players on launch.
Right, and that's on launch.
And that's on launch, and already it looks like, 2 hours ago, apparently over 6 million players now through sales. And that is apparently that equates to, from what I understand, that Forza Horizon 6 has made over $140 million from premium edition sales. That speaks volumes in the video game industry. It speaks volumes.
Well, and I think everybody knew this game was launching hard and heavy. My son's been talking about it for 2 years now, or more, waiting on the new one, So, in fact, his birthday is next week, so he's done given us a list of all the new drops that he wants, and obviously that being one of them.
I wonder how high up the list that is then, Jim. It might be on the top of it. You never know.
Oh, no, for him, it is on the top, for sure. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
That's number one.
So we now digress our way back trackside here at Montreal for what is now a very interesting battle. George Gonzaga and Ollie Gullickson, as Paul LeMay has now ended up in pit lane. This is the battle overall for P5, but Ollie Gullickson currently P2 in the SR8s, and Mike Bousson is finding that gap between him and James Barry is being closed in on. Hook, line and sinker by the number 10 insert name E-Racing team driver, who is going to continue to lead the standings after tonight's events here at Canada, before we go to the Industriefahrten version of the Nürburgring Nordschleife next week for the 60-minute race.
Yeah.
At least we won't get... I remember the last time we jumped on a broadcast together, wasn't it Daytona road course? And we got confused and we weren't told by George that it was a 60-minute enduro, not 2 sprint races. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. Well, this one, it's going to be a lot of fun. We did find out that it looks like that Simon Edwards is not going to be able to make any more races this season due to some scheduling issues or whatever. So, he's going to be dropping down the championship a little bit there. So it's going to be interesting to see now how, I think...
Oh, Bousson's just lost it!
Yeah, he sure did.
Bousson just lost it again. I'm wondering if that was the same point as he did last time. I think it was the same chicane. And he just lost it sideways. James Barry had enough room to nip through on the right-hand side. You're going to have a look at the replay here. So James Barry is going to get a wake-up call, and he has to... And he clobbered the fence with the right front. So Mike Bousson, for the second race in a row, you are a very, very lucky boy.
It's not letting me get the camera on him because of that tree. Yeah, that's the thing, man. When you're trying to hold off somebody like James Barry, you got to drive like a wild man. You really do.
Yeah, he could be the Radical Race Series equivalent of the Bandit.
He absolutely is. He's more like the Radical. He's one of the. Yeah, he's definitely at least the Bandit for sure. He might be the Bandit and Hooper all rolled into one.
Oh no! I try to remember what was Burt Reynolds' character name in the Cannonball Run. JJ, that was it.
Yeah, JJ McClure. JJ McClure Racing.
And then you had him. Yes. He played
Captain Chaos.
Captain Chaos, played by Dom DeLuise.
Captain Chaos.
Oh dear. And as soon as you hear you know that some fat bloke in a mask and a cape would jump into shot. God,
did you ever see the bloopers from that movie?
Oh yes, when Dom DeLuise can't stop laughing.
I mean, that's all they do is laugh,
it was just like they were outside of the ambulance. Like he starts laughing and he said, "What did I say?" And Burt Reynolds goes, "What did I tell you about laughing?" Smacks him around the face with like open hand slap. And he said, "I'm sorry." And then they do another take, and Dom DeLuise is just like laughing his head off, and he can't stop. Those were the days. Yeah. Back when comedy was comedy.
Oh, that was good stuff. Yeah. Anybody that hadn't seen the old original Cannonball Run movie definitely needs to watch that.
And the partnership between Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr.
Yes, fantastic.
As the two reverends in a Ferrari 328 GTS.
Yes. And then the two females in the Lamborghini Countach.
Oh yes, well they evade
Adrienne Barbeau and I forget the other girl's name, but.
Well, I still remember, what was it, when they peel off the highway when Smokey's chasing him down, and then all of a sudden there's a couple of guys with some big fire extinguisher hoses that just hose down the car, and it goes from like white to black or something, like red to black in terms of the paintwork. And they get be like, "The sheriff, there's another Lamborghini behind us. It's a different color." You know, just to confuse the heck out of them, and it's the same two girls behind the wheel. God, yeah. And that was the first time, really, that Hollywood audiences clapped an eye on the man, the myth, the legend, none other than Jackie Chan.
Yep.
And the car that they used, I think, was a Mitsubishi Starion, and it had, of all people to be the driver of the car, Richard Kiel, Jaws from 007.
Yes, it was. That's right. Well, you know, you remember the last movie he did?
Oh, Happy Gilmore, I think, was one of the last ones he did.
He was actually on a rolling cart for that because he couldn't really walk anymore.
Yeah. And, well, we still have, after this, 4 more laps to go. We're about to complete lap 13.
We've lost most of our battles here due to a few incidents along the way.
Well, hence why we've been doing a little bit of 1980s chase car
or
comedy
70s
film.
Even, yeah. 70s.
Oh, man. Yeah, like, talking about reminiscing, Mr. Cunningham. It's good, some good old days. Just like them good old boys, never meaning no harm.
That's right. I still love the Duke boys.
Ah, yes. But again, we've really got a big battle here. Buisson versus Melia Smith, and this is for P2 overall. Buisson on course for 2 back-to-back wins in the SR8 category. Make that 3 actually, because he won race 2 at Silverstone last time out 7 days ago. But Melia Smith, the newcomer, running very, very close to the back end of the number 666 Team Radline car as they head down into the hairpin. James Barry already making his way down the Casino Straight. Let's see if Melia Smith has the slipstream advantage, as the gap is 0.4 of a second. It should kick in very, very shortly, and that delta should creep down. Dominique Pavera. Well, it looks like Paul LeMay called time early. He retired on lap number 9 and is in the pit lane and has been so for over 6.5 minutes. Dominique Pavera holding on to 10th position at the moment, but has a slowdown penalty to serve, which could very easily put the driver from the UK into the clutches of Seth Brown, who is right on his case. Into the chicane at turns 8 and 9 they go. Pavera's got to have to serve that slowdown penalty, I think, down the exit.
He made a mistake right there, man. I see so many people go through a chicane and come out on the other side with still having their penalty. How do you do that? You know, how do you got to take advantage of a chicane. It's the perfect place to serve your slowdown and not get past. And I see it all the time. It's, I had this happen the other day in several races, and I was just like, I can't believe this.
Well, Melia Smith has got through on Buisson for P2 out of turn number 9.
That's kind of shocking to me, to be honest with you.
Well, Melia Smith has showcased that he's not here just to make up the numbers as they go through out of turn number 10.
No, yeah, absolutely. I wonder if Mike's got a little damage, though, because you said he did bump the fence there a little bit when he spun.
Yeah, maybe. And he's probably just grazed part of the bodywork on the car, and it's just caused a little bit of an issue. But look at the slipstream tow he's getting. And it was 0.4 when it started to kick in. And it closed really, really rapidly, and now out of the final corner.
He got a good run there.
He did indeed. He was a little bit tighter away from the wall in comparison with Melia Smith. Buisson to the outside here at turn number 1. And is bit of a stumble there from Melia Smith through at turn 1. Gets onto the racing line here at 2. So Buisson unable to complete the crisscross manoeuvre on the 183, who now has the fastest lap of the race at 1:30.614. Next time around it will be white flag in the air, because James Barry is now 5.2 seconds up the road. And Buisson and Melia Smith, they're about 4.6 to 4.8 seconds ahead of Heinz Braun, with George Gonzaga a further 5.6 seconds behind. He's got Freddie Shriver not too far behind in the number 37. And there you see Freddie, just 15 years of age, challenging one of the established guards here in Radicals. And he's really putting George Gonzaga under massive duress.
He really is.
And this is for P5 overall, but more importantly, P4 in the SR10s. Shriver to the outside. Here at the hairpin, he's going to turn it in.
He's going to get a better run. No, maybe
well,
not.
no. I think he got a little bit, I wouldn't say the word impeded. I think he got compromised by the exit of George Gonzaga, who turned, and I think George just went really, really tight to the apex of the hairpin as we go onto the white flag lap. So James Barry already heading his way into the centre S at the far part of the circuit. As here we go, Shriver on Gonzaga. Gonzaga now trying to counter. And Gonzaga might have the inside line, but Shriver in the 37 to the outside here at turn number 1. He's going to try and throw it round the outside, and that's a beautiful move. Freddie Shriver through on George Gonzaga. Young man, take a bow for that one.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, it really is. That was a well executed, well planned, and executed move.
Yeah, he just had to time it really, really well, and it was that run coming out of the final chicane and just putting it around the outside. At least we didn't have any dramas like Felipe Massa and Sergio Perez did have a few years ago.
No, exactly. You know, I just noticed that James Barry has Groot on the hood of his car. Oh, Mike!
Oh, Busson, dive bomb central from the Team Radline driver at the hairpin.
Is he going to make this work?
I wonder if he can, because Melia Smith is to his inside. They are wheel to wheel, SR8 versus SR10. The latter having the slight advantage. Look at this, it's like Senna and Mansell, they're millimetres apart. Can Busson throw it to the high side? He's going to try and give it a go, but no room at the end for the 666. Barry wins race 2, does the double here at Montreal, and Finley, Melia Smith, is going to take second place there to Mike Busson, who does the double again here in SR8s in P3. Heinz Brown P4. Freddie Shriver will take 5th position very shortly, ahead of George Gonzaga, who lost time to him on that final lap, but what can you say?
He did a great job, though.
He did indeed. George Gonzaga's got a mechanical.
Oh my goodness! Let's see what happened to him before we got a little time here before we're waiting on everybody.
Okay, so this is down into the final chicane. Gonzaga. Oh! There's going to be a little touch. Bang! Hey.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that might have been potentially a racing incident there, because Freddie had, I think, pretty much nowhere to go on that front.
Yeah, well, let's see. I don't know.
50. I'm going to call 50-50 because I can't make. I'm not going to say like James normally says, because you get splinters on in your bum if you sit on the fence. I'm going to call that more 50-50.
All right, I've never heard him say that. Interestingly enough, I have not.
No, whenever in previous broadcasts, he's always asked me. So, Alex, what do you think? He said, don't say you're going to sit on the fence, and then I found out about that. The James Parfit way. It's like, well, if you do sit on the fence, you get splinters in your bum.
So what I realized is that we went right into conversation and did not show the results from Heat 1. So let's hit them up real quick and just at least show the first couple of guys in Heat 1 there, just to give them their love, and then we'll go to the overall.
Indeed. So Heat 1, James Barry took the win after leading from the outside of the front row, because pole position went the way of Mike Busson on that particular occasion. Finley Melia Smith took P2, Busson P3, ahead of a hard-charging Paul LeMay, who rounded out the top 4, and the latter two, the top 2 in SR8. George Gonzaga, Seth Brown, and then we also had Olle Gullikson rounding out the top 3 in SR8s on that particular occasion, finishing P7 ahead of Robert Woodward, Steve Webb and Heinz Brown, with Stefan Mellis, Patricio Gomez de Silva, Dominic Pavera, Phil Glover and Freddie Shriver rounding out the finishing order. Shriver, unfortunately, out after 2 laps. James Barry would do the double. And again, it would be the same results. Finley Mellier-Smith and Mike Boussault rounding out your overall top 3. Heinz Braun, Freddie Shriver, George Gonzaga, Ollie Gullickson, Robert Woodward, Steve Webb, Seth Brown rounding out your top 10. Tanisio Gomez de Silva, Dominique Pavetta, Stefan Mellis, Phil Glover, and Paul LeMay. Phil did actually manage to get back going again, and he ended up 2 laps down off of the eventual race winners.
Well, that's good. Good to see him back out there.
Indeed, and it looks like we have got a couple of drivers in the interview waiting room. So first things first.
You pick them. I'm going to let you do the interviews.
Okay. What? Mr. Boussault, good evening.
Good evening, chaps. You right?
Well, you definitely were making that SR8 as wide as humanly possible, more than the back wheels on a tractor there, my friend. But still, you managed to pick up two wins in the SR8 class, but you nearly had Barry twice in 2 respective races, mate. What happened?
It's not generally a good track for me, but when I got it put on pole, I thought, well, I must be doing something right. But the 8 is about 4 or 5 laps before you can really start driving it around here. Mm-hmm. And then after about 2 laps, it then slides all over the place. So you're just hit by a double whammy. It's the balance was the bop felt pretty good. To be fair, I thought it was very good. They've done a good job of that. But yeah, it was just so hard to drive.
Yeah, I kind of understand that, Mike, because obviously I think the 2 moments that happened for you, both in respective races, I think happened at the same chicane, didn't they?
Oh, there were so many problems. I don't really know what happened. I couldn't stop it, and I couldn't accelerate. It was crazy.
That makes it kind of hard for it to be a race car if you can't stop it or make it go.
Oh, it's that right under bridge. 1 minute you're braking. I can't get it to stop. And then because it's got I was running no downforce. It was then every input from the brake pedal was like rotating the whole car around. So you're getting ready to catch it on the way out because it's just you're steering so heavily from the front on the pedal and that. But yeah, no, I sort of with James, I thought myself, I'm not in a battle with James as much as I would love to have, taken his victory away from him. But ultimately, at the same time, I suppose I am fighting SR8s really. So I think my main competitor is away this evening, is he?
Yes.
Hayvard, yes, he's not here. Yeah, Hayvard's not here tonight, mate. So you've made good inroads with 2 wins in the SR8s here. So nevertheless, mate, you did a great job in quali though. Nearly 3 tenths ahead of.
I don't know what car came in second then. Was that a 10 or an 8?
That was a 10. That was the Finley Mellier-Smith.
There I am thinking to myself, how the hell is he keeping me at bay? Oh, in that case, I was not obviously with it at all. I thought I was racing an SR8. I was thinking to myself, he's holding me off on the straights a bit too easily. Okay, I'll take that. Good result tonight, boys. Love that. Brilliant.
Right, no worries, Mike. Well, before we let you go, buddy, anyone you want to give a shout out to? We know that you gave JP a shout out last week.
Actually, he is in an 8. It was his first weekend, and the sim registered him in the wrong car. He was in an 8.
Oh, I thought it was going mad.
Well, you probably are going mad, but that's a whole nother issue entirely.
Well, this is true. I'll let you boys have it tonight. James has had enough of shout-outs from me of late, so thank you very much for what I'm assuming will be a great watch on YouTube when I've come off.
Brilliant. Mike, as always, buddy, a pleasure to speak to you. We'll see you next week when we head to the Nordschleife for the Industry Fahrten race for 60 minutes.
Oh, lucky me. Brilliant.
All right, buddy. We'll see you next week, mate.
Cheers,
have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Oh. Yep.
Well, I was wondering why Finley Mellier-Smith was actually on the was showing grey rather than yellow for the SR8s on the timing tower. So Well, you know what? We might as well bring him in.
Yes, let's do
Finley
that.
Mellier-Smith, firstly, welcome to Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals. Great job tonight.
Oh, hello, thank you. Oh.
So, who was the person that dragged you in, kicking and screaming, to join our ranks here on a Thursday night, my friend?
Well, Freddie, he's one of my endurance teammates, and I race prototypes a lot, LMP2s. I quite like the Lotus 79, so this car was kind of up my alley. He recommended it, and it's been good fun.
Yeah, I mean, 2 solid finishes, P2 overall, and yes, we have seen that you were actually running in the SR8, so you on debut become a 2-time race winner here at Montreal. Some great battles out there, especially with you and Mike Bousson. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think he had the edge on me pace wise, but he had a couple slip ups, just let me go in front, and then just had to hang on.
Now, one question I do need to ask you, Finley, is: are you going to be sticking around for the last 2 rounds of the series? Because we've got the Nordschleife Industriefahrten next week, and then we've got Adelaide the week after.
Unfortunately, I'm on holiday next week, which is a shame because Nordschleife. But Adelaide's not a track I've driven before, so it could be quite interesting to give that one a go.
Jim, you got any questions for Finley whilst we're at it?
I just want to say, well, I guess my question would be, where'd you come from? Because you just come right in here and jump up here in the front with these guys, which is not easy to do in a car that you're not, really accustomed to. These guys drive these cars, day in and day out over several seasons, numerous seasons, most of these guys, and you just pop right in here and find your niche there. That was pretty impressive. So congratulations on that. But
thank you.
Yeah, it was good fun. I think you're going to be an asset to this league. I can't wait to see how you do. Adelaide's going to be fun, and then of course, hopefully next season you join back in.
Yeah, hopefully I don't cause too much carnage.
Yeah, a little carnage is okay.
Well, Finley, thanks so much for your time, buddy. We really do appreciate it. Before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Got to shout out Freddie for inviting me along. It's good fun.
Brilliant. Well done tonight on 2 wins back-to-back on SR8s, and we look forward to seeing you the next time you jump on the grid.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting all this.
Okay, next up, let's bring in the man who's really ruled the roost already. James Barry, good evening.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Not too bad. Some pretty good another back-to-back victory here at Montreal after winning at Silverstone last week. It's putting you in a pretty good final stretch of season 2, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good fun just turning up and getting the points on the board. It's probably, I've not counted, but it's probably the championship wrapped up now. So, really nice, really fun racing as well today.
Obviously, you were hunting down Mike Bousson, and the gap was getting closer and closer. And we talked to Mike, and he said that it was a bit. His SR8 was, well, in a shortened terminology, was a bit of a pig to drive, and then he lost it right in front of you. And we were just wondering, did you actually scrape the wall as you had to avoid him going to the right?
Yeah, it was all a bit of a blur. I think I touched Mike as well, but I had damage after that. Yeah, it was a scary moment.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that Montreal does provide when someone does have a bit of a moment. But still, Nordschleife Industriefahrten next week, 60 minutes. That's going to be a bit of a proverbial sweatbox for everybody, yourself included, I would imagine.
Yeah. Now you mention that, I don't like the sound of that. Sitting on for a 60-minute race for no breaks. Maybe I'll. I don't know. We'll see about that. We'll see. And,
Are you planning to play hooky? Well, that's an American term, probably.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Skip school.
Yeah.
That's we call it playing hooky in the United States. I don't even know where that came from, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll get my mum to drive it or something. I don't know.
Well, James, nevertheless, a brilliant victory in both races here at Montreal. Before we let you go, mate, anyone you want to give a shout out to in particular?
Yeah, shout out to new guys. I think it was Finley and Freddie who don't race often, and maybe some others. Just good to see people turning up. Shout out to Steve as well. I mean, I came together with him. I obviously didn't want to take him out. Bit of a, I'd say 50-50 kind of incident with him where I spun him around in the second race. So yeah, I didn't want to end up doing that. But yeah, other than that, yeah, thanks to you guys. Thanks a lot.
Brilliant, James. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us once again, as always.
All right, cheers, guys. See you.
When I mentioned Nordschleifer, James Barry,
Yep. Oh yeah,
his ears pricked up and this would say, don't like that for 60 minutes. Well, if we will see whether Mr. Barry does join us next week for the penultimate week of the series. I'm sure he will be. He'll want to get some wins. Let's bring in our good friend, our marshalling buddy, Steve Webb. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you two?
Oh, good. I was going to say, you were doing a cracking job in P3 in race 2 before the, I think as our learned friend Mr. Parfitt would like to say, have a little bit of a ta-ta-ta with James Barry, who went up the inside of you whilst you turned in at turn 1.
Yeah.
The race at that point was looking really good for you, mate.
It was. And I was going to say one thing to Jim. Did you see the start I got, Jim?
I did. Yes, I did.
I managed to hold it together.
Hey, that was only the first couple of ones. You know, I mean, yeah, you fixed that problem for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that incident with Barry, you know, it really seemed like that. You know, when you drive with guys that fast, sometimes they just get there and you don't even realize they're going to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to be quite honest with you, I wasn't quite sure whose fault it was. I think
it was a racing incident. I think that he got there and you didn't see him. I mean, that's the way we saw it anyway.
I only have one dirty great big curve monitor, so I'm not on triples or anything like that. So, you know.
Well, the move was really fast. I mean, he was there, but it happened so fast that, you know, he dubbed it a 50-50 thing when we just talked to him. And I would say racing incident. I mean, it just happens, you know, especially when a guy that fast, man, they make moves on you sometimes you just don't see coming. You know, you think you got space and they just close up so fast, you know.
Oh, he certainly did that all right.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that.
Know, yeah, that's true. But the racing was good. I still managed to get it back to 4th after a bit of luck from other drivers going out. But I am now starting to stop making these stupid mistakes, you know, where I've gone back to sort of basics.
That's been your strategy for, you know, you brought that up and told us that, and it seems to be working. Yeah,
I think, is this the move now?
Yeah. A little bit of a bump over the curves by James and gets into the left side of you and spins you around. But I mean, like Jim said, Steve, it was a bit of a 50-50 racing incident kind of situation, and you know sometimes that does happen.
Oh, it does. You know, I don't hold any grudges whatsoever. I know James is not. He doesn't intentionally do things like, you know,
he doesn't do that.
You know.
And, now, Busan, on the other hand, he would wreck you.
No, Mike's all right. You know, it's a bit like Paul. He'll go for a lunge as well every now and again on you. But all in all, it's still really enjoyable. And, you know, I just love being part of the racing side of things. So it's all good fun. And it keeps me, point-wise, not too terrible. I think it was 2 4th places tonight, so it's not that bad.
No, good night. It's a pretty good night.
But we do need a few more SR8 drivers. I don't know where they've all gone.
Yeah, you know, it's I don't know. Yeah, it's strange. You would think more guys would want to drive the SR8. It's a free car. To me, it's a better driving car, I think. But you know.
Well, it is once you can wrap it around your head.
Not around a tree, Steve.
No.
Yes, no
I'll
wrapping
try not
around
to
the
do
tree.
that.
Yeah,
I'll try
no.
not to do that one. But look, guys, you've got other people that you need to interview. Nice to speak to you all again, and keep on doing the good work with your commentaries. It's absolutely brilliant. So
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. Really
well
do.
done, lads.
We'll see you next week.
Just quickly, if anybody wants any tickets for this weekend, we've got the Britannia series down there. So it's a lot of the older sort of touring cars type stuff. The week after, I've got tickets to the Masters, and I think
what, the historic Masters?
The historic Masters.
Oh, if only I wasn't in Germany next week, mate. I'd probably snap your hand off for them.
Well, if any of the other lads are watching the stream, including Mike, because I have offered Mike tickets as well.
Including Mike.
Well, he's going to give me a bag of carrots, or was it a bag of onions? I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
He might give you both, mate. You never know.
Well, you never know.
One or the other.
Farmer Mike.
But there will be some tickets available if anybody wants them. Obviously, I can't take just pick Joe Blogs off the street. It's got to be somebody I know and trust.
I'm when we get towards the end of the year, mate, I'll probably I'll give you a shout. And if there's any weekends where I'm free and it's like Brands Hatch or Snet, let me know.
I've got a good one for you. Trucks. Last one of the season. Fireworks.
Oh,
down
yeah.
At Brands.
I know. I think is that the last week, the sort of like the crossover weekend between October and November? Is it?
It is, yeah. Yep.
Okay, I'm away that weekend.
Okay. Sod ya. I'll try helping.
No, but I will get in touch via DMs here on Discord, mate, and I'll let you know what weekends I've got free, and we'll have a chat, eh? You and I.
Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. Okay,
as always,
guys.
All right, as always, Steve, a pleasure, mate. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Same to you. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Jim.
What a character. What a character.
Well, we got to get Freddie in here real quick.
Do you want to take this one, buddy?
I mean, go ahead. I really know nothing about Freddie. Honestly, this was the first time I recall seeing him.
Yeah. Hello, Freddie. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Well, good to see you've dragged Finley along with you for this round. But mate, I mean, what a run you've had tonight here at Montreal. That's again, we've seen just further improvement.
Yeah. Finn and I have both been practicing quite a decent amount this week. I also decided to run a bit of a different livery, which I think has given me a bit of luck. That's only a one-off. But yeah, definitely, I put a lot more practice in this week, and bought the track out of my own money, so my hard work. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was some great battles that we saw up and down the order, and you were definitely in the thick of things. I mean, how does it feel to further progress from, obviously, the results that you got at Silverstone last week?
Yeah, so Silverstone last week was a good start, and the results this week were really good. I'm really disappointed with the heat, though. I would have been fighting at the front, apart from that incident with Hines, but that's just racing. And then towards the end of the feature, George and I had a really good battle. I managed to pull 6-second gap in the last 10 laps, so really pleased with that as well. Managed to come over the P3, so happy with that.
Yeah. Well, next week, Freddie, we go to the Nordschleife, not the full combined 24 hours that many people, including a certain Max Verstappen, were racing in last weekend. But that's going to be another one that's going to really test your skills as a racing driver, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, luckily, IMS has been at Nordschleife this week, and we obviously just had the 24, so I've been doing quite a few laps around there. I think this will be a bit tricky around there, especially with some of the tighter corners, some of the faster into tighter ones, especially with these cars. They're a bit uneven and stuff like that, but it'll be great fun.
Watch the curbs.
Again, we'll watch the curbs, just like here.
The curbs there are brutal with these cars.
Well, nevertheless, Freddie, keep on pushing forward and keep on improving. Well done tonight. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
This week I'm going to give a shout out to my nan, Nanny Terry Leonard. She I visited her at the hospital. She works at the hospital. I visited her this week. And she was really, really pleased with my sim race and said that she's so proud of me. Asked me to send over clips of me and said that I'm smashing it and to keep going, and she's really proud. So shout out to this week is to Nanny.
All right.
Brilliant. Well, brilliant. That's a really good shout out there, Freddie. Well, well done tonight, my friend. And we look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing you next week for the penultimate round of season 2.
Yeah, see you at the North Life.
Well, really good to hear from Freddie at that point. I mean, Jim, 2 great races here at Montreal with a little bit of reminiscing of
Yes.
Cannonball Run, Smokey and the Bandit by us 2 up here in the box. But yeah, 2 good races in Montreal, and the real tough test is just 7 days away at the Nordschleife Industriefahrten circuit for a 60-minute enduro, which means pit stops will be required.
Yeah, that always throws a different element into these radical races, because that's not that's not something that normally happens. So that always makes it a little extra fun too,
Indeed. Well, that wraps up our live coverage of Radical Race Series Battle of the Radicals Season 2 2026 Week 10 here at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. Well, it's the case of James Barry, I think, has pretty much wrapped up things in the SR10 division, but the SR8 title is still up for grabs. Who will conquer the Green Hell next week? Well, tune in, same place, same time, and you'll find out, along with myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Jim Cunningham. Until next time, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, well, you better go flat out. We'll see you next time.